Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are doing our daily MLB call with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Right now we're looking at the card for Thursday, August 20th, the typical shorter Thursday card in baseball. But one thing that hasn't been short has been Joe Duffy's career of success in the handicapping industry. Going back 30 years, just got written up at ESPN.com. Joe Duffy, how are things going at OffshoreInsiders.com this year for you?
It's been a great year. Admittedly, as we file this, the last couple days haven't been, our finest moments. But we always say, and it's so accurate, it's more than a cliche, our winning streaks will always outnumber and always outlast the losing streaks. And yes, it's been a very profitable year indeed.
All right, well, maybe you want to start out Thursday with giving your clients a no-brainer bet, betting against Alfredo Simon in one way or another, right? He's going to be at home against Texas. Colby Lewis on the other side. Lewis not really lights out, but pretty consistently decent. And Simon giving up at least 4 runs in 9 out of his last 10 starts. Now, do you expect that to continue? If so, I mean, when you're handicapping value this game and you can assume that one of the starting pitchers is going to give up at least 4 runs, that changes things from an odds perspective. Can we just assume that it's going to be another 4 or more run start from Simon here?
Yeah, I do think that Simon might be the single worst starting pitcher, a guy who just stays in the rotation. He might be the single worst pitcher in baseball. I know, there are guys entering the rotation for some of the bottom feeders, but as far as a guy who's been around all year, and Colby Lewis, he struggled against Detroit. He's got a 6.11 ERA against them, so this should be a high-scoring game. Of course, there's going to be a high total, but it may not be high enough.
So you would prefer a lean to the over as opposed to
Yes.
a lean to Texas?
Yeah, well, maybe a little bit of both, actually.
Right. All right, and then Atlanta at the Cubs. Mike Foltynewicz and Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks can get hit, but right now he just seems like a notch better and a notch more reliable. Cubs at home with a solid lineup. They've been winning recently. Do you think there's a solid pitching edge here for the Cubs?
I would say so. Look, the Braves, especially the Braves, cannot score. Foltynewicz has been showing some signs of improvement, so it could be a low-scoring game. But when you have a pretty good pitcher going against the Braves, their bats have been pretty darn quiet. A pitching advantage for the Cubs, and certainly just about everyone has an offensive advantage over the Braves at this point.
All right, then the next game I want to ask you about, I don't have an early lean on it, but I just want to get your opinion on it. Jerome Williams has actually had a pretty decent August so far. Last 3 starts have been okay as far as the results are concerned, as far as his final line is concerned. What's up with Jerome Williams? Is he suddenly, not an auto fade anymore?
He doesn't have pressure on him because, look, it's not like the Phillies have a bunch of guys ready to enter the rotation if he struggles. So, he's showing some signs of being around the league a little bit, and he is pitching better. But the Phillies, they have been pretty good in the second half. However, not quite as good as of late. So they're going back to being kind of a go against still. To go against the Phillies, you got to lay some big lumber. So I don't see any huge advantage from a betting standpoint.
And then the next thing I want to ask you about, just kind of an obvious bet that I'm not sure I'm going to bite on, though, is Tampa Bay at Houston. Chris Archer and Colin McHugh, 2 excellent starting pitchers. McHugh has been excellent recently. Archer got pounded at Texas in his last start, but before that, he was extremely consistent as well. Archer seems like one of these guys who's either gets hit hard or has a great start. And I guess if we expect a bounce back from Archer, like 7 innings, 1 or 2 runs, and McHugh to be as reliable and consistent as he's been recently, I guess the under would be the play here, although probably the total will be 7, maybe 7.5. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, Archer's pitched okay, but not that great, and he hasn't gotten much run support. He's only 1-5 in his decisions over his last 9 starts. He has pitched pretty well, though, against the Astros. 4 career starts, 1.09 ERA. So all in all, he is a good pitcher, and I would agree with you. Like you said, McHugh has been rock solid going really back to last year, so it could be a low-scoring game. I would say a slight lean towards the under.
All right, well, as of right now, I think I just have one lean, which is going to be on the Cubs. I think the Cubs are probably going to be a good bet. We'll see what the line is for that game. What else do you have to bring to our attention from Thursday, August 20th, Joe?
Well, this might be a great opportunity where I like to say, I like to go against stud pitchers when they're struggling a little bit. Max Scherzer would certainly fit that. Early in the year when the sports writers like to do their Cy Young Award winner to date, he would have been almost a unanimous choice, but he's got a 7.80 ERA over his last 3 starts. And, what goes up must come down. He went in that 3-start stretch where it was one of the greatest in history. So at this point, I think he might be pretty good value, especially since he's hitting the road at and pitching in the worst pitching ballpark in baseball.
Good points there. Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Thanks so much. Talk to you again very soon.